Pour Out Your Story Publishing presents Hidden Above Her, Part 1 by Kandle Bossfield. Read by Marshawn Francoeur. 3 hours before the party. One tan heel lands in front of the closet. The other bounces off the silver comforter on the bed. Finally, I'm alone. I shut the bedroom door behind me. I slip into my comfy Snoopy slippers and grab some licorice out of the plastic cylinder container on the wooden dresser. The cranberry dress hangs on the closet door. It's strapless with sequins and lace, with a sweetheart neckline. At least Mom has good taste in clothes. My tank top and jeans land behind the hamper. I throw on a super beachy t-shirt and lean back on the bed. I stick my earbuds in my ears, press play on my phone and close my eyes. The soulful songstress is singing about how somebody took her man, an escort took mine. What a damn shame. I guess I'm not the only one with man problems. I can't believe she took my man, sings in my ear by Tamar Braxton. If I learned anything from this breakup, it was that I dodged an Uzi gun of deceitful bullets. What if I found out all his dirty habits after I married him? Thank you, God. Something warm touches my arm. My stomach leaps and my pulse races around the track. Tava, are you trying to kill me? I shout, holding my hand over my chest. Her mouth is moving, but no words come out. I pull the earbuds. I sit up and gasp. What? He's coming, she says. Who? I look around for a hairy red monster. Professor Finwall's coming to the party. I squint in confusion. Why is Professor Finwall coming to this house? I point to the floor for emphasis. I told him we were having a going-away party for you, and he insisted on coming. Plus, he wants to see me, of course, she says, smacking her lips in arrogance. How thoughtful of you, Tava. You invite him to invade my space and chow down on my party food after he failed me in his class? Finwall is a freaking savage. I shake my head in defeat. Shit, my bad. Maybe things can turn around, I don't know. But I'll see you downstairs. Cute dress. I have the same one in black. She shuts the door behind her. Is this some kind of sick joke? I tilt my head back and my eyes look up. I put both hands together and my fingertips point to the ceiling. God, I pray, can you miraculously change my journalism grade so I can graduate on time? Can we work out a deal or something? I know it's cheating, but I did study real hard when I took the test over. I didn't believe in science before, but if you do me this favor, I promise not to have sex or marry until you send me a sign from my future husband. I want the man I'm supposed to marry to give me a 1930s gold music box with a gold horse inside. Oh, and it has to play a song I recognize and have my initials engraved. The water in my eyes blurs my vision. Please do me this favor. In your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. Both hands fall to the mattress in defeat. What's done is a wrap that can't unfold. Why did I put myself in this situation? I swallow. I use the back of my hand to wipe away the wetness. I could really use a chocolate milkshake right now to calm my salty nerves. Why would Tava set me up like this? Professor Finwall is going to shut this entire party down. He's going to shout to the world how bad I did in his class. Then I will spend the rest of my night explaining how I screwed up. My eyelids flutter. There it is. There's stress coming to play with my emotions. I open the door, and the savory aroma is so delicious I can taste the coconut on my tongue. Yummy pani popo. The freshness of coconut bread forces my stomach to purr in delight. I look over the wooden balcony. Doesn't look like anyone's here yet. The blasting music turns off as I walk downstairs. What's wrong, Lainey? The deep voice in the kitchen sounds familiar. I stay in the dining room and peek around the wall. Mom pours a bunch of corn in the pot. There he is. 6 feet 5 inches of Mr. Thomas Dunmore, a.k.a. Tommy, a.k.a. my father, standing across the kitchen island with love and concern in his eyes. They met and fell in love 30-something years ago at the Sacramento airport, only 2 days after Dad started working there to get some extra cash. At that point, he was in his late teens and didn't know if he wanted to take over the construction business from his father. Mom flew in from her hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, Dad helped her with her luggage and never left her side, well until she kicked his ass out a few years back. The light reflects off his shiny, bald apricot head. His eyebrows look permanently annoyed. But he's the epitome of why people shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Yes, he has a teardrop tattoo near his eye, but he didn't kill anybody. His friend dared him to tattoo his face back in the early 90s. Even though Dad has the appearance of a man who has a criminal record as long as California, he's the most loving father any girl could ever ask for. Sure, he's rough around the edges and socially awkward at times, but he adores my mother. It's sort of funny, though, how strangers stop and ask Mom indirectly if she's being held against her will, insinuating my dad kidnapped her because of how mean-looking and huge he is. But what they don't know is, even though my mother may appear nice and sweet, she's the reason why my dad has a permanent limp when he walks. "Come on, Lainey, what's wrong?" Dad asks, with his baritone just above a whisper. Mom's head hangs low. I wonder if I put her in a bad mood. "Tommy, I'm fine." Dad wipes his short garlic and pepper goatee. 30 years of marriage. I know when something's up. Is it Symphony? She'll come back to visit, just like Tava does. I'm sure of it. Dad rubs his hand over the tribal tattoos on his neck, and his unbuttoned palm shirt shows other tattoos with intricate lines. Dad always wore some type of tropical shirt, whether we celebrated a birthday, tequila festival, or Kwanzaa. "Tommy, I'm worried about Symphony. She broke things off with that boy before she could even get into planning her wedding good," says Mom. "Good. I didn't like that fucker anyway. What kind of man doesn't ask the father for his approval to marry his daughter?" He places his hand on his round bare belly, but his arms are massive and strong enough to build a house. "I didn't like him either," Mom says. Wow, this is what they think? Maybe that snot cry at the wedding dress boutique didn't mean she was happy. "Tommy, how'd you get in the house?" asks Mom. "This is still my house, Lainey. Don't start." "I used my key," Dad says. "Well, I thought you gave it back. You've been knocking every time you come around. What's different about today?" she says. "I'm here to celebrate with my baby girl. I don't have time for this nonsense." "Well, don't be surprised when your keys don't work next time," she says, raising an eyebrow. "Lainey, if you don't want me using my key, I won't use it then." The side of his fist pounds on the marble countertop. Mom looks at his massive fist like it belongs to a toddler throwing a tantrum. Unfazed, she turns around and pours the leftover peas in the sink. She flicks on the garbage disposal, and it doesn't growl. She sighs. "I'll fix it. I just got to get my tools from the car," Dad says. "You have been saying that for 2 weeks now. Should I call someone else to fix it?" "No, Elaine, I'll fix it." Dad never calls Mom by her government name. He must be really frustrated. She turns off the pot of rice. "Come on, Lainey, don't be like that. I'm here to celebrate my baby girl. She's about to graduate and start a new life in a new place. How can you still be this angry after 3 years? Damn it, Lainey." He reaches in his back pocket, pulls out a white handkerchief, and wipes the sweat from his forehead. "He has got to stop calling me baby girl. I'm not a baby anymore. I can see my baby sonogram on his forearm. That's me, his sweet baby girl. The sonogram is partly why they think I'm so spoiled around here. Although Dad has all these tattoos, he never managed to put Duck or Tava sonogram on him, even though he promised he would." Mom's sweet potato pie is right there on the counter. I would punch somebody to taste it right now. But the last thing I want to hear is my father's voice. "Baby girl, you sure you need a slice of pie?" he would say. I would usually smile on the outside but shrink on the inside. I guess smiling is my defense mechanism to make the moment less awkward. I guess to make everyone else around the room comfortable at my expense. As many times as I've pleaded with Dad to stop bringing up how heavy I used to be, he brushes it off and says, "We Dunmores aren't sensitive people." The most frustrating part was he acted like I wasn't responsible enough to maintain my own weight, never mind the fact that I worked the weight off without his help. It was like he picked a wound that healed a long time ago. This is another reason why I absolutely can't wait to leave tomorrow. Mom looks up at Dad with a curious expression. "Tommy, how old is that girl you're bringing here?" says Mom. 29. Why? What would she think about you rubbing your Johnson against my behind a while ago? Says Mom. If I vomit, will it blow my cover? My father has completely lost his mind. What was he thinking inviting his new girlfriend over? Didn't he just meet her? Did Mom actually have a problem with it? If I knew my father, he had a good comeback line to Mom's question. What I do with my wife is my business, he says, stomping one foot. Oh, really? Her head jerks back, and she raises her eyebrows in amazement. Well, guess what? Your wife contacted a divorce attorney, and your wife's new boyfriend, Steve, is on his way. She pours in the soy sauce, chives, sugar, garlic, and ginger for the shoyu chicken. It's always nice to have a mixture of soul food and island food. Has Daddy ever heard to never piss off the cook? Wait, did Mom say boyfriend? Dad is watching her, but his chest isn't moving. I remember the last time Dad pissed Mom off. That day I spent at least an hour in the shower conditioning my hair. I stepped out of the bathroom and saw Mom stuff Dad's palm tree shirts and khaki pants into a white grocery bag. She tied the plastic handles, glided to the balcony, and tossed the full bag over the balcony. The massive plop echoed through the house. I looked over the balcony and saw at least 24 stuffed and tied bags stacked like a mountain in the middle of the foyer downstairs. Mom, did you throw all these? I asked. Her eyes reminded me of a new security guard clutching her gun, itching for a reason to shoot. Help me take these bags outside, Mom said. At that point, I didn't feel like I had a choice. Dad parked across the street in his white construction truck at the exact moment I walked out the front door, holding the last stuffed grocery bag. He got out, slammed the truck door, and stopped mid-street with his mouth wide open, like he caught a robber walking out the front door with his television, except it wasn't a robber. It was me holding the last bag of his belongings to put on the curb with the other bags. That was the most awkward moment ever. I don't know what my father did, but I'd sure hate to be him. I handed him the bag. Is your mother upset with me? That was the first time I saw fear in my father's eyes. I gave him a swift, yep, before I headed back to the porch. I couldn't figure out why Mom parked her silver Camry in front of the next door neighbor's house. But when I looked straight ahead, Mom was standing in the doorway with no expression. It was like watching a silent movie. My father walked back and forth, loading his stuff in the back of the truck. Mom nudged me as she headed to the sidewalk, clutching a white piece of paper. She walked up to Dad and slammed the paper flat on his face. He grabbed the paper and viewed it, and his expression morphed from offended to terror. Mom snatched back the paper, crumpled it into a ball, and headed in the direction of her silver Camry. Mom started the engine, and the car sped straight in Dad's direction. Daddy, watch out! The car nicked the side of his right leg, knocking all 275 pounds of my father to the concrete next to the grocery bags. What scared me wasn't the fact that she hit my father with her car. It was her ability to stay incredibly calm that terrified me, like she could go right back in the house to finish the laundry like nothing ever happened. Mom backed up the car. I ran in front of Dad as he got up slow, and the car screeched and stopped 2 inches in front of my outstretched palms. I'm pretty sure I forgot to breathe. Mom slowly backed up, made sure not to hit the green trash can, and slowly parked in our driveway. I swallowed hard. She carefully climbed out of the car, walked back to the house, and the stained glass shattered when she slammed the door. I helped throw the rest of the grocery bags in the back of his truck as he limped back and forth. I knew I couldn't let Dad stay too much longer because I didn't know what Mom might do next. My dad owned a lot of guns, and they were in the house with Mom. Disappointment beamed from his face. Your mother would believe anything, even if it ain't true, he said before he kissed me on the cheek. He limped to his truck, got in, and drove off with no further explanation. Luckily, the neighbors weren't around to call the police. That day, I made the craziest decision I'd ever made in my life. I passed on UCLA and chose to stay at my parents' house and attended Sacramento State College in the city. I didn't want my mom going to prison for murdering my dad for whatever they had going on. I don't know what evidence Mom had when she referred to him as a cheater earlier. I don't think he would ever do something like that. It's been a few years since that happened, and at this point I'm dealing with a father who made it his job to remind me of how overweight I used to be, and a mom who still invades my privacy by coming in my room without permission to wash my clothes, including my damn underwear. I'm so serious, she does. So I'm not letting anything or anybody stand in my way this time. I'm moving to LA, and I don't care if Mom has Dad and his new girlfriend tied up and butt naked on the dining room table. I'm leaving tomorrow, and I might not come back. Boyfriend, Dad says, eyes wide. He heard her right. Mom has got a boyfriend. This is my cue to leave. I couldn't listen anymore. Professor Finwall is about to devastate my entire existence when he gets here, and I don't know how I'm going to explain failing my class to my parents. I head back upstairs. My parents are still crazy about each other. Why can't they see that?